The Golden State Warriors had a shot with a win tonight at home against the Phoenix Suns of moving up to 9th in the Western Conference standings and just a half game behind the Mavericks for 8th in the Western Conference standings. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And on top of that, Steve Kerr made some very peculiar comments that bordered on perplexity before the game. The comments themselves were intriguing. The timing of it, more on the side of unwise. I'm going to break down what that means because it was important. So is the Warriors getting their asses kicked at home by the Phoenix Suns. If a trade's coming, please make it happen soon. They desperately need it. And let's talk about it, folks. It is Friday night. That's the good news. The Warriors got their asses kicked. Bad news. It's the Golden Days. That's great news. Let's do it, baby!
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Woo! Let's go! In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
can't go wrong with Friday night. You can't go wrong with the win. Oh, welcome to the Golden Days. Welcome to the madness that is Golden State Warriors basketball. I am your host for the evening, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram. I'm having like an issue with my hat here. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dogwild, over on Twitter at Surf Journalist. The program's on both platforms at Golden Days Pod, and someday I may get around to being active on Blue Sky. My handle there at Golden Days, representing both myself and the program. I really chose that because some asshole out there took my handle at Dog Wild. That's my baby. So Golden Days, it is. We're obviously going to get to the chat tonight. I borderline need you folks and the energy you bring, for better or worse. It all comes together in this confluence, this congruence of interesting and highly entertaining content. So I value each and every one of you. Before we get into all of that, though, got to give some love to our sponsors. First and foremost, we'll start with BetOnline. Screw it. BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. Why not BetOnline? They've been with me from the beginning, especially since I migrated over to Believe Network and changed the name of my program to Golden Days. BetOnline's been with me from the start, so I'll absolutely start off with some love for them. The biggest betting weekend of the year is finally here, which means more updated odds and props for Super Sunday, a week from Sunday. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. We have hundreds of prop bets, MVP odds, and exclusive in-game live betting, and BetOnline's your ultimate game day companion. Visit the website today and make game the day action. I'm reading that verbatim. That's why it sounded weird. I got to fix that. Anyway, visit the website, make the game day action count a little bit more. BetOnline, the game starts here. Today's show also brought to you by the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Tom Rosanelli, the hair restoration specialist based in San Francisco. He's an expert in multiple hair restoration procedures, both FUE, which is follicular unit excision, and FUS, which is follicular unit strip procedures, a procedure that most newer and younger doctors in the field do not do. Dr. Rosanelli does do this. Look, I'm going to present to you some video evidence for why you should be calling Dr. Tom Rosanelli. And I even got the graphic here. And this is for all the men out there who is experiencing one of the most depressing things a man can experience in the process that is life. And that's your hair leaving you. That's your hair thinning on you. So call Dr. Tom Rosanelli at 415-931-9881. Again, 415-931-9881, or visit Rosanelli.com. At a bare minimum, just reach out, ask for a consultation. And if you mention Rick Barry's name, you get $500 off, because this is the 50th anniversary of Rick winning the finals MVP for the 75 world champion Golden State Warriors. And look at this video, this photo evidence. I apologize. I got to show this to you because when you look at this, and men, if you fall into this category, do something. That player right there on the screen is LeBron James. There is a before picture and an after picture. Don't be a LeBron James, folks. Don't do that. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. Not the greatest. I give that honor to Michael Jordan. But he's one of the greatest. You could argue he's the second greatest ever. I don't know if people will be hyping him up the way they do if he didn't get treatment from his own doctor. Dr. Tom Rosanelli is light years ahead of the competition in terms of technological advancements. He's got incredible reviews on Yelp, perfect reviews on Google reviews. One more time, 415-931-9881 is the number, or visit rosanelli.com. And last but not least, Underdog Fantasy. Jason Tatum tonight hit a game winner against the New Orleans Pelicans. Side note, DeJounte Murray, my heart is with you. Torn Achilles is out for the year. An exclamation point on a nightmare season for the New Orleans Pelicans. I bring that up because Jason Tatum hit a game-winning basket, and those 2 points put me over the top to win an 8-pick card. I won over 50 times what I put in tonight. I tweet all of my picks. Underdog Fantasy is super fun. It's legal here in California and 30 other U.S. states, probably more than 30, but a minimum of 31 states here in the U.S. It's legal. It's fun. Use the promo code GSW for a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And you could be a little giddy like I am on a night like this when the Golden State Warriors are getting their asses kicked. And before the game started, a game that resulted in the Golden State Warriors losing by final score. This game was really not close from the beginning. 130-105 the final. The Warriors losing this game by 25 points. But the drama started even before. And what I mean by that is Steve Kerr, like most NBA coaches do, and let me make sure I got to keep thank you, Bloomer Wave Vibes. Yes, I know it was a winning ticket. And I got to take a look at my other tickets for the Warriors Suns game because I know there's a possibility I put 3 different bets down for the Warriors Suns game with Underdog Fantasy. The only pick that I know for certain did not win of all my selections is Stephen Curry. I bet on him having higher than 4.5 3-pointers made. He did not hit that. Steph had a very bad night. But all you got to do is win one of your multiplayer cards, and the rest is fine. Thank you very much, regardless. But going back to the coverage at hand, to the show at hand, I can't thank you enough, Bloomer Vibes, because again, if you win in gambling, you're going to be in a good mood, and that's the giddiness that Underdog Fantasy can give for you, especially again on a night like this. Because if you're a Warriors fan, if you call yourself a member of Dub Nation, this was a travesty. This was ugly. The trade deadline is next Thursday. And the reason why I mentioned the trade deadline and the reason why I brought up Steve Kerr is because before the game even started, Steve Kerr addressed the media like he always does. That's what head coaches in the NBA do. It's part of their obligation. It's part of the reason why they get those big fat paychecks is because they have to talk to the media. They are a representative of the organization. It's part of the job, and it's a very important part of the job. Mark Jackson, we go back 10 plus years ago to when his contract was not renewed with the Golden State Warriors. A big part of that was the media aspect of it. He was not someone who liked to play the media game, playing a diplomatic role, developing relationships with media and so forth. Whereas Steve Kerr is, whether or not you want to add a word like tyrannical to it, given the fear that he has put into the media here in the San Francisco Bay Area, we could have a separate discussion about that. But regardless, Steve Kerr is media savvy. He knows what he's doing in terms of using the strings as a puppet master with this Bay Area scene when it comes to the media side. And so he's addressing the media today. And as media savvy as Steve Kerr typically is, tonight was an exception to that rule in a negative manner. And what I mean by that is that Steve Kerr said something that I think a lot of people, myself included, desperately wanted to hear from Steve Kerr. Did I want to hear it before a game? That's the part that's really bizarre. Let's hear the soundbite. I'm going to play it right now so you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Steve Kerr said these words during the pregame press conference tonight. And again, whether they're the wisest words to say before a game, we can talk about that. But for now, this was Steve Kerr before tonight's Warriors-Suns game, which again resulted in a 130-105 Suns victory. Here was Kerr when asked about the team and possibly making a deal. Take it away, Coach.
The point is, we're not in a position where we can just say, no, we're good. Let's stand pat. That's the reality of where we are. So Mike's doing his due diligence, doing his job. If there's something that makes sense, he's going to do it. And if not, then I'm very comfortable going forward with this team because I know what we're capable of, and I believe in the guys. And we'll hopefully try to capture a little momentum here. We have an opportunity for that. I think tonight's a big game in that regard, coming off the other night. But we gotta go do it.
Is that a message that you passed along to Mike? Just like, we can't stay pat?
Well, those conversations are not for public consumption. So, yeah, Mike's great. He's the ultimate collaborator. He calls me every day, fills me in on, what he's talking about, what he's thinking about. We talk about, our team all the time. So, but that stuff stays between us.
So Steve Kerr, on one hand, saying that he likes the team he has, which is, I think, clearly how he feels. Like if it's up to Steve Kerr, he at this point of his career cares more about Stephen Curry, again, being comfortable as he's being put to bed, making sure that Stephen Curry is comfortable with the players around him. That seems to be a higher priority for him than actually winning. Which is very unfortunate because if that was not his priority, you'd see a much larger focus on the development of young players. You'd see this team taking action way before now in terms of roster improvements. But just to summarize again, in case you missed it with that clip, Steve Kerr said that this team likely will not stand pat, that the team likely needs to make improvements to the roster. And again, music to my ears, I think music to the ears of anyone who has any sense and sensibility when it comes to watching basketball and understanding this game, and more specifically understanding that the Golden State Warriors desperately need some change. But to say it before a game, look, the Warriors came out tonight and looked like a team that had just heard their head coach say they're probably going to make some trades. That's what they looked like. They had no energy out there. They did not look like a team that was engaged, and they got their butts kicked. And again, I don't think it's much of a surprise because, again, for the millionth time, you want to hear Steve Kerr say these things, just not before a game. And so the Warriors were really never in this game from the get-go. They got outscored in the first quarter, 30-27. They lingered, and Stephen Curry had another abysmal first half. We'll talk about that in just a moment. The Warriors trailed by 11 at the half. They were still in it, but this just kept going and going. Again, the Warriors got outscored by 3 in the first quarter, got outscored by 8 in the second quarter, got outscored by 8 in the third quarter, got outscored by 6 in the fourth quarter. This is the blueprint for how ass kickings typically go, where a team just outscores you quarter by quarter, you within a realm of margin that is fairly stable, fairly consistent, and then by the end, these margins that are minimal quarter by quarter add up very quickly, and it resulted in tonight's case with a 25-point victory for the Phoenix Suns. The good news, though, and there is good news from those Steve Kerr comments. Okay, the Warriors lost again. They're back to 500 in terms of their record. We'll explore the standings in just a minute because, again, if the Warriors had won, we'd be looking at a 9th-seeded Golden State Warriors team that's just a half game behind the Mavericks for 8. Instead, the Warriors are looking out of even the play-in at this point because of tonight's loss. Again, 130-105 to a Phoenix Suns team that improves to 25-22. The Warriors dropped to 24-24. But the fantastic news, if we're going to look past the game, is that the head coach of the Warriors, the man who has routinely been the obstacle for real progress with this team, for sustaining excellence beyond just the window that was originally presented in terms of the dynasty, said the right things. He said that they shouldn't stand pat. That's great news. They cannot stand pat. This team as currently constructed is not it. Certified Memanjin in the chat, I hope I pronounced that correctly, says, we always get cooked by a newly traded dude too. I don't know if you were talking to someone else or to me, but again, for anyone who's afraid of the Warriors making a trade, they're a 500 team as currently constructed. That's not good enough to do anything. So if you're happy with this, you're basically telling the world you're happy with a mediocre product. And more power to you, I guess. You're probably just a happy person about everything in life. But in professional sports, where the goal is winning, where competition is the name of the game, and there's only going to be one winner with each game, with each tournament, this 500 ball will not cut it, obviously. You're also talking about Stephen Curry's legacy, 4 titles, pursuing a 5th, which is a make or break in terms of all-time rankings, all-time discussions. If you want to talk about the greatest point guard ever, Stephen Curry's in that discussion right now, but he ain't it. He's close, but championships matter. Rings matter. Magic Johnson's 5 to Stephen Curry's 4 is a difference. Stephen Curry wins a 5th championship, he's got that title. Cut and dry, plain and simple, black and white. And that is just one of many examples of how important winning this championship is for Stephen Curry and these Golden State Warriors. So standing pat is not going to cut it, especially when you consider the fact that Stephen Curry, right before our eyes, is aging. Right before our eyes is no longer the best player in the NBA, if not one of them. I still think he's one of the best, but tonight was an example of a performance where you look at the Warriors, and I hope you're asking yourself, why have they not helped this guy yet? Why is Stephen Curry one of the only players on this team who can consistently do anything out there? He needs help. And the trade deadline, again, Thursday, February 6th. This is not Friday. Happy Friday night, everybody. Sometime between now and next Thursday, let's hope something happens. The what of that remains a mystery. My suspicion is that it's going to be Jimmy Butler. And we can have a discussion about that if you want. I don't know the how of it. I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it again. We broke the story on this program right here, Golden Days, that the reason why the Warriors keep pursuing Jimmy Butler, and I bring him up because Shams Charania and Brian Windhorst of ESPN both reported today that these two teams that play tonight, the Warriors and the Suns, they're still right in the thick of the Jimmy Butler hunt. And I know that name makes a lot of people squirm. We've had folks on this program who are vehemently against even the idea of Jimmy Butler, but very important to remember, this product as currently constructed ain't it. It's a 500 team. Dennis Schroeder, if the team that they're playing against is not the Wizards or the Jazz, does not show up. Stephen Curry needs help. Andrew Wiggins is not it. Great player. And again, I'm not sitting here wishing that the team trades Andrew Wiggins, but all I'm trying to say here is if Wiggins is moved ultimately for Jimmy Butler, this team is better for it. They're not worse. And Mike Dunleavy Jr. has a lot of faith in Jimmy Butler. We reported on this show, the reason why this team wants Jimmy Butler so bad is because Mike Dunleavy Jr. played with Jimmy Butler on the Chicago Bulls. They have a relationship. If Mike Dunleavy Jr. is saying he's not going to be a disturbance on this team, all the issues that you've seen with him with previous teams, which, side note, usually don't happen right away. And regardless of what the Warriors do, these trades are for short-term gain. There's nothing long-term here with Jimmy Butler or Nikola Vucevic or Zach LaVine. You might have a slightly longer window because I think he's still in his 20s. But the point is, the move that the team is making is not a long-term move. It's for a win-now scenario. And unlike some people, and I get it, a lot of people are not happy about the Jimmy Butler, about the idea of Jimmy Butler. it's not the worst move in the world. I like it. I personally, if that's the deal that happens, I'm not going to sit here and be pissed about it and be dejected about it and be upset about it. If Jimmy Butler is the move, sign me up. Great. You're doing something. You're getting a guy that just 2 seasons ago almost single-handedly led his team to the NBA Finals. Playoff Jimmy is a very real thing. I also like the idea of a motivated Jimmy who might be coming here with a purpose in mind, which is to win a championship, something he's never done. Anyways, so there is that possibility. There is the possibility of Zach LaVine and or Nikola Vucevic with the Bulls. And LaVine's name was brought up in a report, I believe, by Anthony Slater and Marcus Thompson of The Athletic. And if that happens, that's great too. I would love Zach LaVine scoring. I would love Nikola Vucevic's size and his spacing. Sign me up. They got to do something though. There's no doubt about that. Because again, what we saw tonight is yet another friendly reminder that this team, as currently constructed, ain't it. The status quo will not suffice. I'm still skeptical they're even going to make a trade. That's where I'm at. I still am not confident, even with Steve Kerr's words tonight, that they're actually going to do something. I'm going to believe it when I see it, but Steve Kerr's words were very encouraging. I'm going to read some stats to you, some things that were good and some that were not so good from tonight's game. Ryan Leong is going to join us in a little bit from Chase Center. He's actually going to join us from the court. He normally joins us from the stands in the media section. So you have this really beautiful aesthetic behind him of a Chase Center and the stands and the court. Tonight, he's going to be closer. He's going to do the show from his phone. So I think it's going to be a short hit, but he's going to join us on the actual parquet. Like he's going to be, I don't know, he's going to hold his phone. I think he's going to set it up on the scores table, but I'm very excited to have Ryan Leong join us. That's going to happen very soon. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to post the link right now. If anyone wants to jump on and sit here and tell me they hate Jimmy Butler or have any other ideas, whatever's on your mind, man, come join the party. Even if we disagree, let's have some fun doing so. So the link is in the chat if you want to come on. Some things that stuck out to me, though, statistically. Let's talk about this game tonight for a second here. Stephen Curry had a very bad night. There's no way to spin that. Steph, in the first half, was abysmal. And let me read to you some numbers here in terms of Stephen Curry tonight, in terms of how he did. The first half was particularly bad again. And what a lot of people are seeing, myself included, and I don't know if you're seeing this as well or not. Someone tweeted to me, by the way, that they actually, during halftime, went back and watched the entire first quarter of this game again, and all they saw was a Phoenix team with 2, if not 3 different sets of eyes glued to Stephen Curry. Again, opposing defenses are not trapping. They're not making these double and triple teams obvious to the eye. But if you're watching Steph during any possession, look at the defender of the players closest to him. Meaning if Stephen Curry's bringing the ball up and Brandon Pajemski is like 10 feet away and he's going to come maybe to set a screen, whoever's defending Pajemski, their eyes are not on pods. Their eyes are on Steph. Sometimes you got a third defender involved. Like if GP2's out there as well, and GP2's 15 feet away, the second closest player to Stephen Curry after Brandon Pajemski. His defender, his eyes are on Steph. They're not on GP2's. The defenses that Stephen Curry is facing is wild. It's almost unparalleled in terms of seeing defenses and their schemes focus solely on one individual. And it's sad to watch in a lot of ways, but it's the reality of things. And this is why this team desperately needs help. Steph can't do this alone. And in the first half of tonight's game, Stephen Curry, facing all these double teams, facing just a whole team's defense squared almost entirely on him, scored 2 first half points. First half. He also only had 2 3-point attempts. Defenses are suffocating him so badly that he can't even get shots off. You're seeing the offense you're seeing the ball oftentimes ending up in the hands of other players with each offensive possession for the Warriors, largely because Stephen Curry can't do a damn thing out there. Tonight, Buddy Hield was helping a little bit. It wasn't enough, clearly, but when you look at the total stats, like the team's leading scorer tonight it was a tie between Andrew Wiggins, who scored 17 points on 6 of 20 shooting, not good. 1 of 5 shooting from deep, not good. So 17 points. He was tied for the team lead in scoring tonight. 17 points is not a lot. He was tied for that lead with Moses Moody. I thought Moody had a fantastic game. I don't know why he only played 23 minutes, 46 seconds, but in those 23 minutes and change, 17 points for him. He was 4 of 7 from deep. He's shooting well above 40% from 3 on the season, which is awesome. And again, when you watch Moses Moody just having nights like these, think about the future of this club, man. I really, with conviction, believe that this Warriors team is set for many years to come. That's why you're not seeing them trade these young pieces away. They believe in them for a very good reason. So Moody had a good game. He tied for the team lead in scoring with Andrew Wiggins, 17 points. And in fact, we'll do this right now real fast. Your Underdog Fantasy player of the game tonight is Moses Moody, 17 points. He shot 50% from the field, 5 of 10 from the field, more specifically 4 of 7 from deep, had 3 trips to the free throw line. Unfortunately, only made, he had 3 trips to the free throw line. Unfortunately, was only 3 of 5 from the charity stripe, good for 60%. Added 6 rebounds in this game. He was also the primary defender on Kevin Durant, which is a side note, a whole other discussion. Moses Moody should not be the primary defender on Kevin Durant. That is a mismatch and then some. But Moses Moody, our player of the game on a night when not a lot of people shined, tied for the team lead in scoring tonight again with 17 alongside Andrew Wiggins. And that was a sign of where this offense was for this evening. Stephen Curry finished the night with a slightly better second half, actually considerably better by his standards. 12 points came in the second half, 14 points total for Steph, who struggled from deep, just 1 of 6, and a lot of those shots were not even close. Was a perfect 3 of 3 from the free throw line, continues to lead the NBA in that department. But Steph, and maybe the stat that at least sticks out to me the most, because even on Steph's bad nights, you don't see his net rating look like this, which was minus 18. I rarely, if ever, see Stephen Curry's net rating in the negative, even on nights where they lose. If the Warriors typically, if they get their asses kicked, you'll see Stephen Curry's net rating hover around 0. Not tonight, minus 18. Andrew Wiggins was a minus 26 in that department. And we're talking about your 2 best players just laying eggs. In Stephen Curry's situation, again, I look at the lack of support. There was one play, and I even put this on my notes, where early third quarter, the Warriors caused the turnover, and they were pushing the ball on a fast break, and Stephen Curry couldn't finish. Like, Stephen Curry was the initiator offensively. I think it was like a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, and he had, I forgot who was running alongside him. I don't know if it was Buddy Hield, who should have been the recipient of a pass for an easy 2, but Steph took it himself. And that was the first time I ever saw him just look past his prime. It was depressing. It was the first time I ever saw him show his age. To me, I know a lot of other people have said that as well, but I never really seen evidence of a decline before. That play was not a good look, and I hope it was just an anomaly, but the Warriors need help. Let's go to Caleb, who's in the chat tonight. Caleb, welcome to the show. How are you doing, man?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. To be honest, disappointing loss.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
It was a really disappointing loss. We were pretty close. First
Mhm.
quarter, we were down 4, and just something I noticed is just like we have no offensive. Like once like the other team really gets going offensively, we really can't create momentum, and that's really bad. And another thing I noticed is we do way better against defensive teams than more offensive oriented teams. For example, Thunder, Houston, we play close games with them, but with the Suns, this is a reoccurring thing. It's just we can't score. They get into momentum, they get into fast lead, and we can't do nothing. So honestly, the question is like, will these trades, will they change the needle for us? Like Jimmy Butler, will he really change?
Yes. Well, and here's why. Here's why, Caleb. There's a couple of reasons. One is for the obvious, right? You're actually getting players who can score on their own, right? It's not just that they're scorers; it's that they can create offense without help, right? And let's say Jimmy Butler hypothetically is the guy. He can do that. More importantly, though, is in a matter of days, according to multiple reports, Monday's the target date for Draymond Green to come back. Draymond Green was sorely missed tonight because that's the guy who would have defended Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was playing center for the Suns for a good number of possessions tonight. So you're getting Draymond Green back. You're getting Jonathan Kuminga back, which is just as important, maybe even more so because of the attention he brings. All of a sudden, when Jonathan Kuminga is playing, Stephen Curry's not double and triple teamed every possession. I still have hope. Hold on to the feeling you had after the Thunder game. Did you feel good after that game?
Yeah, very good. I was hopeful actually. And
hold on to that, dude. Don't let tonight like again, I don't know why Steve Kerr said what he said before the game. You might as well have just gone a stick and whacked every player in the knee like 3 times before the game started. Same effect, man. Like I have no clue why he picked tonight of all nights, and I've had a chance to really think about it and analyze it. But to pick tonight of all nights, I'm not just tonight, but before the game of all moments. Yeah. To say what he said, man, that is just wild. By the way, I also want to give acknowledge real quickly, Caleb. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to give acknowledgement to where did that comment go? Someone was calling me out saying that Stephen Curry had a -17. Here it is. Kitchen handy when the Kings beat him the other night. I'm not saying that Stephen Curry never has a negative net rating. I'm not saying it's like it's this was a one-time thing, but it's rare. And yes, it happened in the Kings game as well. But it stuck out to me tonight because at least in the Kings game, if I'm not mistaken, he still at least scored. He was still being a little productive out there. Tonight, 14 points, a -17 net rating. It was just bad across the board, man. It was just borderline depressing. Caleb, continue, man. I feel like I'm talking a lot over you. I apologize.
No, good. Yeah, but it just depends on like what we're giving up. Like honestly, in my opinion, Andrew Wiggins for Jimmy Butler is not worth it, to be honest.
I know a lot of people feel that way, but again, let me ask you this, Caleb: if they don't do that, you're cool with this current product as is?
Honestly, no. I mean, if we don't get a trade by the end of the trade deadline, honestly, just like end the season, go for a high draft pick.
I would shut Curry down, man.
Exactly, save him up.
Like just
what I noticed with Curry is like he doesn't. I don't know if it's age or is he trying to save his body, but he hasn't been really driving as much to the paint or like really been using his body as like last year or something like that. And it's been really like disappointing, but I don't know if his idea is to save it for the playoffs because we're going to need him in the playoffs, even if we make it. That's the thing. But honestly, maybe a Nikola Vucevic for a cheaper price. I think that would be better. That's a better.
Caleb, what if I gave you my word? What if I promised you? And look, I can't guarantee it. I'm not Notre Dame. No one can predict the future. But I've been watching this game for 40 years now, close to that. I mean, I started playing basketball when I was like 5 years old. And what if I promised you, based on my intuition, just feeling as strong as it does, that if the Warriors made a trade where, let's say they did give up Wiggins, and you probably have to give up Looney and GP2 as well, but they're not making much of a difference this year as well. What if I promised you that a Wiggins, Looney, GP2 trade for Jimmy Butler would result in fantastic production? What if I promised you that Jimmy Butler coming here he's going to pour over 20 points a night. He's going to play the defense and bring the tenacity this team misses most nights. What if the best case scenario happened for Jimmy Butler? Would your mood change about then? I mean, because I'm guessing you don't like the move because you think he's going to come here and it's just going to be more of the same, correct?
Yeah, and I'm thinking. I mean, I think he'll fit well, honestly, with the offense because we do need a creator. But I'm just scared his age, long term, and also just his past actions, like in Minnesota, Philadelphia. Even,
I know.
Now, it's scary, honestly. I mean, I'm willing to take the bet if it's worth it. If we're able to be productive, but my main thing is, will this lead us to a championship? Because if it
could.
I mean, the West is stacked right now too. That's the thing. But it's just I have to see it, to be honest. I have to see.
I agree. We all have to. I'm intrigued to see it. Here's what I'll say, and this is why I don't feel as negative about Jimmy Butler as a lot of people do. I'm not forgetting what Butler did just 2 seasons ago, man. I'm not forgetting all the stuff he's done in the postseason. I'm also not pretending that this is a move that's going to be for the next 3-4 years. He has a player option for next year. His antics this season have ruined the idea of him getting an extension. So everything that drove him out of Miami is not something that's going to be salvaged wherever else he goes. He's not getting that long-term extension. Wherever he goes, it's going to be a 1 or 2 year scenario, depending on whether or not he opts into his player option next year. So it's not going to cost you anything long-term. This is not Jimmy Butler's not going to be around for 4 years. This will be for the rest of this year, maybe next year. But really, this is all about this season. This is all about this year. And again, Mike Dunleavy Jr. knows Jimmy. They play together. Dunleavy Jr. is the reason why Jimmy Butler is the target. But they feel confident that it's going to be a good fit. And we've all seen what the good version of Jimmy Butler is, right? Like when the good version shows up, your team is borderline unbeatable. And imagine that version with Steph, Dre, Kuminga, Moody, Quentin Post is emerging. Dude, Quentin Post tonight, by the way, started again, and I was really personally stoked to see that. Played 19 minutes, 1 second, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, hit 50% of his threes, 9 points, 8 rebounds in this game. So my point is, man, there's a lot to be optimistic about with this squad if they make the move for Jimmy. I get the pessimism, man. I'm not sitting here pretending that I want him myself. All I'm saying is I'm intrigued by the idea, dude. And unlike a lot of people, I don't think Jimmy Butler's cooked. I think he could come here and be that all-star version. He is such an alpha, dude. I guarantee you, wherever Jimmy Butler goes, his mentality is going to be one thing: prove everyone wrong. I would not mind having that version of Jimmy Butler on my team. That's all I'm saying, man.
You're right.
What do you think?
I mean, I trust in his productiveness. I know he's gonna come into the Warriors. He's gonna fill well, score, and he's gonna be that missing piece. But honestly, it's just.
It's not. I get it. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you you're wrong.
I know. I wouldn't be mad. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if the Warriors did it. We're getting better at the end. It's just, in my opinion, I feel it won't be enough. It won't be enough. Honestly, just if we think about it, just if we could wait for a Giannis type of player, that will move the needle. That's something that's gonna. We're gonna be title contenders immediately. But with Jimmy Butler, I feel like we're gonna be more 4th, 5th seed. And with the Thunder, how they're playing, and they get Chet back, they're scary. Houston Rocket, how they've been playing. Memphis, they've been playing good. Those teams are looking scary, and really we need to get bigger, to be honest. I mean, Quentin Post, he's good, but defensively, we need to get bigger. Anthony Davis, the Lakers have been exposing us too. It's sad, and just getting bigger I know we need a scorer too, but getting a bigger defender, Miles Turner, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I agree. I'll leave you with this. I got a lot of people waiting. I want to get to everyone. Ishan, you are next. Spark, Shardal, and Curtis. That's the order. I always go chronological. But I'll leave you with this, man. Jimmy Butler, if he came here, the toughness he would bring. He's about 6'7". I think that's his listed height. He could play the 4 in a Steve Kerr system. So you're talking about your death lineup suddenly looking like this. You'd have Draymond at the 5. Jimmy Butler as your 4, and Butler would likely be matched up against Anthony Davis and or LeBron, which I'll take any day over what this team currently has. Kuminga now it plays his natural position at the 3. Stephen Curry is playing. And then I don't know who that 5th person is. I don't know if Pajemski is going to be your closing guy. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't even put much thought into who that 5th person would be at this point, but it's a team that can make a run, man. We've already seen what the Warriors could do against those teams you mentioned. They could beat OKC. They could beat Houston. They could beat Memphis. The Nuggets and the Lakers are the ones that scare me. I think that's why you have to do something. Jimmy Butler helps you with that with against those teams. Is it a guarantee? No. Giannis would be a guarantee. And unfortunately, there's no chance in hell you're going to get him this year. But Jimmy Butler will give you a shot, man. And I think that's all any of us could ask for is just a shot for Steph to get that 5th title, man. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. I guess stay hopeful, I guess. Yeah.
Stay hopeful. That's a good. And by the way, I mentioned Brandon Pajemski. He had a good night tonight, dude. 14 points in this game. He was 4 of 7 from deep. The shot is back, dude. And that is very encouraging to see. Brandon Pajemski had a rough start to this season. A lot of doom and gloom was following him. And to see Pajemski bouncing back, I kind of wish he played more minutes. 21, 39 seconds is all he played tonight. There's a stretch as well late in the second quarter, and this piggybacks off what Miguel B dropped 4.99 in the chat for, writing, Kerr is the type of coach to bench Giannis for Pajemski or Buddy Hield, a team built with G Leaguers expected to contend, the biggest joke of the season. One example of Steve Kerr that made no sense to me. There was a stretch late in the second quarter where the Warriors were getting their asses handed to them, and the game started to get carried away. I don't know why Steve Kerr was not calling a timeout. There were a lot of stretches in tonight's game where I thought a timeout was desperately needed, and Kerr just stood there watching his team getting their ass kicked. But late in the second quarter, with I think 2:47 remaining, Kerr took Andrew Wiggins out of the game. And right around this time was when Phoenix was playing Kevin Durant at the 5. And the Warriors responded to that with, let's take Wiggins out. I have no idea why he did that, man. Like, he benched them for the final 2 minutes, 47 seconds. I think Wiggins was leading the Warriors in scoring at that point. He only had one foul committed. And Steve Kerr's like, nah, you just sit on the bench. Even though you're arguably our best player, not named Stephen Curry, just sit on the bench. We don't need you. And the Suns ended up, again, with I think an 11-point lead at the half, and the rest is history. I don't know if you remember that. And again, this was just a minor random moment, but I thought it was significant, and it made no damn sense, dude. Finish that, man.
Maybe a new coach really might be helpful, honestly, because these rotations I've been seeing, these lineups and these adjustments, and the lack of timeouts in certain places, it's been really frustrating, honestly. And
yeah, dude, it has, man.
I don't know,
what are you up to tonight, Caleb? What are you doing? It's Friday.
Just at home, kind of sad if the Warriors lost, but yeah. Hey, stay hopeful for the next game.
You sound young, dude. Go have some fun, man. How old are you?
18.
Dude, go have some fun. You should not be staying home at home on a Friday night. Be safe, but go out there and just do some things that you might regret later. You know what I'm saying, dude? You're only young once. Leave the house and live, brother. Caleb, I love you, man. Thank you for coming on, brother. If the Warriors make a trade, I don't care who it is, I'm happy. I don't know about you, but anything will be good from what I've seen.
Help is, I guess that's what I need. That's what we need, honestly.
Brother, thank you, Caleb. I really appreciate it. Is Sean? I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome to the program again. What's up?
What's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, from Fremont, right?
No, Walnut Creek.
Walnut Creek. I'm sorry. I'll get it right someday. How you doing, Sean? What's on your mind?
That was pretty brutal, to be honest.
It was.
One game you're beating the best team in the league, and next game you're losing. You're getting blown out by a team close to your standings position. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. But honestly, I'm all in on the Jimmy Butler trade, bro. Like, anything you gotta do it. But the only thing is, they can't be stupid to trade Kuminga. If they don't have to give up Kuminga,
they won't.
And you get Jimmy Butler, then you're kind of set. But still, the center position is in question. I still wouldn't, play post that much. Maybe Looney. I don't know.
Were you happy to at least see? So Trace Jackson-Davis had been getting some DNPs, and it looked like that was going to happen again tonight. But things were going so bad. We finally saw Trace Jackson-Davis. I think in the third quarter, he started getting some minutes. I have the stats here. In the first half, Trace Jackson-Davis did not play at all. No, so he came in the third quarter. We only saw him for 8 minutes, 39 seconds. Didn't do much, if anything. But I hear you. I feel you. Who do you want as a trade partner? By the way, Joshua Dave Labrador in the chat saying, let's be honest, Jimmy Butler is elite and a dog. I agree. That's not me saying I want that. That's my number one choice. But I do agree with what you're writing there, that Jimmy Butler, he's a great basketball player. Like, do not pretend that adding Jimmy Butler is going to hurt your team. Complete opposite. And again, if Mike Dunleavy Jr., if Steve Kerr, if the team is sold on it, then let's see it. I'm curious. Who would you want, Sean?
Jimmy Butler's the best player out there besides De'Aaron Fox. So I don't know who else you're gonna get. I mean, maybe the Bucks might trade Middleton, but that's about it. Like, I don't know who else you could get. I don't think a Cam Johnson trade would do you any good. I mean, you're doing something. You're doing something, but he's not. He might be like another Schroeder. You never know. He was on the Nets putting up numbers, and now we're not really doing much. Which, the Schroeder Curry duo just reminds me of the Chris Paul duo of last year, but a better shooter.
Yeah, we're gonna have Ryan Leong join us in a second, and we'll squeeze in everyone waiting along with Ryan. He's joining us from courtside at Chase Center. There's a Craig Ross in the chat's asking what my number one choice is among at least the names we've heard mentioned, realistically speaking. And I'm going to have to agree with Kyler Z that I think if a trade is plausible, where you're not giving up the farm and you can get back both Vucevic and Zach LaVine, that's a massive improvement right there. Like that's what I'd probably roll with. That would be my pick. If you can get both those guys, you're adding a ton of offense. You're not. That's what I would go with. I think that's your best shot.
You're gonna need you're gonna need a bunch of firsts though. Warriors only have one first, right? Which is the 31.
Why would you need a bunch of first?
I'm sure the Bulls would ask for a lot of firsts for Vooch and Levine.
I think the Bulls have to face reality. If they're wanting multiple firsts, that trade's not happening, plain and simple. So
yeah, but like I feel like any team in the league would ask for at least 3 or 4 firsts for those type of 2 players, because you traded Rudy Gobert for about 8 firsts, so why not get like 4 for 2 of those players? So
yeah, well, there's a reason why the Bulls haven't made much, if any, trades outside of the Josh Giddey one in the last like 5 years. Is if that's what they're asking for, tough shit. You're not getting it. Like, and then the Warriors would have to move on. They'd have to find another trade partner. I mean, look, the reports out there indicate Cam Johnson can get him for 2 firsts. I would try to negotiate that and bring it down to 1, and I just lost Ryan Leong. But I'm not giving up 3 or 4, man. I'm not giving up 2. I wouldn't even give up. I'd begrudgingly give up 1, and that would be my 2031 first, like 7 years down the road. F that, dude. What do you think?
No, I wouldn't do all that. But I was wondering if you would want Middleton on the Warriors.
Hell yeah. I don't think the Bucks are trading him, but I would love Middleton, dude.
I'm sure the Bucks would also like to get Jimmy Butler, because I'm kind of like thinking that Jimmy Butler ends up in Phoenix, Golden State, or Milwaukee. Those are my 3 teams that I think he's going to end up in.
So I think Sean, any final thoughts, brother? There's a lot of other people I want to get to tonight.
No, it's all good. But
great to hear from you, dude. I'm sorry for mixing up your cities, dude. You're in the Dub C, Walnut Creek, once upon a time the home of G League Ignite. And how is the Dub C treating you these days, dude? You happy there?
All good. It's just good nights out. That's about it. It's pretty much boring in the daytime.
It's suburbs. It's like a big-ish city in the suburbs. It is what it is, man. But at least you're close to. You're just the 24 away from Oakland and San Francisco, right? So
Are you gonna attend the All-Star break? Or
I'm gonna try. I formally applied today, and this is where for everyone out there who's aspiring to do this, get in the media game. Being a part of a network's important. Like if I'm going to get into the All-Star game, it's going to be through Believe, the network that our show is on. So I hope so, dude. It looks encouraging, but we'll see. Are you going to go as a spectator?
No. I mean, I wonder what the prices are, but really, I don't really want to watch the All-Star game. I mean,
I hear you.
If it's good this season, then that would be unfortunate.
I love it. Well, we got Ryan Leong who's joining us. He's in the radio booth, so you did not do the courtside.
They have a fellowship.
Thank you.
They have a fellowship night going on. That's why.
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
Fellowship, like religious. Fellowship. You don't know what fellowship is?
I don't. I'm not a religious person. I don't go to church and
so fellowship is the term. Fellowship is when they get a bunch of people to talk about their collective, what do you call it? Interest in God and et cetera, religion.
When I hear fellowship, I think Lord of the Rings. So it's like fellowship.
Okay, that too. You see it You see it over my shoulder here. See it
what are
over
you
there?
Saying here? The Warriors occasionally have like church events.
Yeah, the Giants do it too.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, all right. So
yep. So that's why I decided. No. I decided to do that myself. I just thought it was better that I'd be up here than down there. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Makes sense. What do they do, man? Are they praying or are they playing basketball?
Yeah. No, they're not playing. No. They basically they sometimes get some of the players to come out, talk about their interest in God, etc. And play some music and
All right.
Do some prayers. Yep.
I like it. Talk about some Hobbit ball. I mean, look, it's the perfect place, man. Chase
right.
Center, home of the Hobbits. You got the fellowship.
Right. Yep.
You got Craig Ross saying they're praying for the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors could use it.
They need some prayers.
Yeah.
Anyway, a little bit different backdrop this time, huh? So
it looks good though. I like it. So that is where Tim Roy typically broadcasts, right?
No. Visiting radio.
Oh,
but he has the same view on the other side. So there's the way it's set up is I can do it real quick here. So there's the booth or the view here, and then the next booth is visiting TV. Home TV is on the other side, and then home radio is on the other end. See what I mean? That's how the booths are set up.
I like
So,
it.
yeah.
Ryan, do you mind if we have some folks join us while
No, not at all. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Let's go to Spark. That's a new name. Spark, you're on the program. How the hell are you doing?
Oh, hello. Good night. Good night. You hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. How you doing, brother or sister?
Yeah, bro.
I don't know.
Talking about the fellowship, right? I think
Mhm.
we need some prayers for Steve Kerr, man.
More
his
for
like
Steph. More for Steph
well,
and his knees, dude.
well, Steph, man. Steph is just suffering the consequences from what Steve Kerr is doing, man. Like,
Sorry. Hold on a second, guys. I got a cord here.
Like
I
the
got to turn
fact,
it up. So
like the fact.
Go ahead. Just Spark. Go ahead, Spark.
Yeah, so like the fact that Steph is like still playing under this guy is crazy to me, man. Like, holy. Like tonight he played bad, of course, but like to me, it's all like how the season's going. Like the season's kind of forcing him into like playing like this, honestly, in my opinion. Like this is not his level, and he's kind of like stooping down to the level he's forced to like play under what Steve Kerr is throwing at him. Like this match in particular, honestly, like the Warriors are like the players are not bad, but like the coach is just like putting in like delusions into them, like playing at a bunch of positions and taking them in and out and in and out, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Like they're not getting any consistency out there, and it's like hurting them like terribly as well. Like when they're not getting the constant reps and stuff, like the players can't get any groove, and it's like hurting them. And like honestly, any other coach would at least, I feel like, be top 4 with this Warriors roster. Like maybe not top 1, top 2, but definitely 3, 4, maybe even probably 5th. Any other coach with this roster, I feel like, is in the top 5 easily. But Steve Kerr is just making things extra complicated. I don't understand why he does it. Like for this season and last season.
And in my opinion, even the year before that, Ryan, you were a big news item tonight was the fact that Steve Kerr in the pregame presser. I don't know if you were there for that. You do the visitors after the game, but before the game, you're oftentimes part of the press corps interviewing Kerr. In your opinion, man, what was going on there? Like, why would Steve Kerr pick a pregame press conference to tell the world that the Warriors can't stand pat with their current team? I don't think that helped anything.
I don't know. He was asked a question by Danny Emmerman, so he was just, answering his questions. So I'll say this. I think a lot of times in all of Kerr's pregame pressers, which I try to make, I do have time for that. He just seems to be like inconsistent with what he's trying to say. The message he's always trying to give out is inconsistent.
That is fair.
I mean, the one thing he does do, he does do is he does talk to the media, right? So he does answer your questions. He's just inconsistent. Like one day he'll say like, I think there was one time a couple weeks ago, right, where he said the team was playing competitively all season, and then in 2 weeks before that he said they weren't, right?
No, I agree. His messaging is all over the place.
It's all over the place, right.
The consistency that's lacking with the Warriors includes their head coach. Spark, any final thoughts before we move on, man? Where in the world are you, by the way?
I'm in New York right now, but I migrated here like last year. Yeah.
The great city of New York, one of the greatest cities in the world, in my opinion, the greatest. It's a magical place, dude. You're in the city.
No, I'm in like, what's it called? Like
upstate?
Yeah, upstate.
Okay. Like Buffalo, like Syracuse, like where are we talking, man?
Actually, I'm still in the the Rockaways though.
Oh, that's like so you're not in upstate. You're
no, I'm not upstate. Yeah.
Okay, so you're by the beach.
Yeah, I'm by the beach.
George Costanza, going to the beach, man, just reflecting on the pier, man, coming up with this big decisions to get married and so forth. Spark, I'm gonna move on, brother. We got a lot of people waiting. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say though, like with the Buddy heel, man, I don't understand what he's doing with Buddy, man. He's in Buddy's head, bro. He's in Buddy's head. Like Buddy comes out and plays good for him the first quarter, the second quarter. Well, scoring wise, Buddy played pretty well. And then the whole third quarter, I don't think I saw a single Buddy heel shot, and it pissed me off. I don't know if he did shoot, but I don't think I saw one shot while I was watching, and I was so upset. Like I thought Buddy was gonna go for like 25 tonight and just carry us into like a spectacular Buddy win, and we could like say, okay, Buddy deserves to be playing on this team, but
and then no.
And then
Spark,
nope.
thank you so much, man. We got a lot of other people waiting. I appreciate you. And the Buddy Hield point was smart by Spark, Ryan, because that sounded weird, but it actually made sense. Buddy Hield tonight finished the game with 13 points by his standards lately. That's fantastic. He was 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, 5 of 7 from the field total. But a lot of those points came in the first half. In fact, all of them came in the first half. Buddy Hield did not score a single point in the second half. So the Warriors, unfortunately, could not rely on him for a full 4 quarters for production. What did you see, Ryan, from Buddy Hield tonight?
Go ahead, unmute myself. I mean, he showed some good shots at times, like you said, but there's other times he went from I said what I said before. He went from being Buddy Buckets to Buddy Bricks.
And the thing is, a lot of people bring up like trading him, which is a great idea. I fully support that. But the problem is, to who? I mean, who wants him? Yeah, who wants Buddy Hield? And he's in a 4-year contract, dude. This is just year 1 of 4 years. It's
man.
Bro, that's a rough one, man. So, anyways, are you ready for Chardal, the rock star of the Golden Days audience, Ryan?
Bring him on. Yeah.
Chardal, what was your reaction to tonight's game, man? That was a rough one.
Hi, Cyrus.
Hi, Chardal.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Chardal.
So I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. I really love all your content and videos on the platform on YouTube.
I'm a fan of you.
I'm a passionate Warriors fan. This basketball game was an absolute shit show. They got their ass kicked against the Phoenix Suns, 130-105. Also, the dynamic duo led by Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who led the charge tonight, combined for 50 points. And I'm 100% optimistic that this team will bounce back from this brutal loss against the Suns tonight.
It was brutal. I don't feel the energy from you like I normally do, Chardal.
And I'm 100% optimistic that they're going to bounce back from this brutal loss when they go up against the Orlando Magic on February 3rd at Chase Center.
Monday. That's Monday.
And I would love for this team to move in the right direction. I mean, Stephen Curry was cold tonight. I mean, Stephen Curry wasn't looking like himself tonight. He was not looking like Stephen Curry. I mean, like, I'm a big Stephen Curry fan, but when I see him not having in his mojo and he's not kind of feeling the groove tonight, what were your thoughts on how Stephen Curry's performance was tonight? You think that he was not in his groove, and do you think that he might play a little better when they go up against the Magic?
Well, I mentioned this earlier. There was a stretch in the early third quarter where Steph couldn't finish what normally would be a very easy transition basket for him. I think he was leading a 3-on-1 fast break, and it just resulted in a miss, and then they turned it over. It was ugly. It was ugly, man. Ryan, you were there on the scene, dude. Nights like these are when I feel like being in person adds a nice added perspective. What did you see from Steph, dude? He did not look happy tonight.
No, he forced a lot of shots. It shows in the box score, 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from deep.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this was a night kind of a game, and not in a good way. I took a snooze for a little bit during the game, man. I mean, I've had a long week too, but this kind of game, when you watch bad basketball like this is a great game for taking a nap, I'll tell you. And that's what this game was. It was a total snoozer.
Yeah. Real fast, I want to bring up Ray Barrios in the chat, because Ryan, you didn't get a chance to participate in the Jimmy Butler discussion, given that no one has any clue what the Warriors are going to do here, right? I mean, if you're not Joe Lacob, Mike Dunleavy Jr., Steve Kerr, you don't know what the hell is going on. People can say they have sources, people can say they have an idea, but until the trade happens, who knows? With that said,
Ryan, so I have a question for you.
Well, hold on, Chardal. Hold on one second. Chardal, hold on one second. So Ray Barrios in the chat brings up that Jimmy Butler is only putting up 17 points a game this season, which is right. That could reflect a decline in his game. I'm leaning more toward Jimmy Butler's in an unhappy situation. He's been disgruntled this whole year.
Right.
And not to read too much into the numbers of what he's put up with Miami in terms of judging where he's at, in terms of his physicality, in terms of his health, his athleticism. Ryan, I'm sure you've watched Jimmy Butler play this year. Do you see a player in decline? What are your thoughts on Jimmy Butler and the Chardal? I'm going to ask you next.
Oof. I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's a little bit on the decline. Also, he's playing in a place he doesn't want to play at. I mean, Jimmy Butler is entirely an attitude player.
Yes.
So if he doesn't want to be there. I mean, when he had that press conference that ultimately led to a 7-game suspension, I mean, he just basically flat out said, "Get me out of here."
Dude, the whole thing's incredible. Chardol, do you think Jimmy Butler is on the decline? And what are your thoughts on Jimmy Butler coming to the Warriors? Do you like the idea? Do you hate it? What are your thoughts?
So as a fan of Jimmy Butler, I don't want to see him because all the antics he's doing and all the things he's doing. I don't think Curry and Butler will meld together. I think it's not a good move. I don't agree with the move.
Right. I agree.
I don't agree with him coming to the Dubs because I don't think that with all the stuff he's doing, suspension, all the stuff, walking off on the court, all these things he's doing, it won't work well with our team, man, because our team is a well-meld unit. With we have a lot of great players on our team, man. We have Moses Moody in our team. We got Jonathan Kuminga, Looney. So I don't think Butler's going to be good. I don't agree. And whoever thinks that, they have to give they have to give analysis on it because I don't think it's going to happen.
What if, for the sake of argument, Chardol, let's say the Warriors make the trade. Let's say they listen to Mike Dunleavy Jr., who's telling everybody, I know Jimmy, I played with him. He's just disgruntled because it's a lot of years coming that's led to this moment with him and the Miami Heat splitting up. And what if he comes here and it works out? What if a month from now the Warriors have a 7-game winning streak? Butler's putting up 20 a game, defending some opposing fours effectively. What then? Will you be happy?
So I'll be happy. So let's first bring Jimmy Butler into this organization. Let's let the guy play a couple of games. Let's assess. If he doesn't work out, you could let him go.
Sounds good. Chardol, any final thoughts?
Guys, make sure to click the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell for so you know next time Side goes live on these Warriors post-game shows. I think you do great on these shows. I think you bring a lot of great callers on here. I love everything you do on the platform. I really love coming on here. I try and do my best to come on.
I know, Chardol.
And I really love coming on.
You know what really disappoints me and bums me out is hearing you not have the same energy when the Warriors lose. I need Stephen Curry. I need Steve Kerr. I need Joe Lacob to hear you when the Warriors win and hear you when the Warriors lose so they can have some added incentive and motivation.
So when the Warriors
down like this ever again. This is a travesty, Chardol.
I
want pumped up crazy Chardol. I want the Chardol that is like Warriors and Golden Days. And that's the Chardol I want. And I'm not blaming you, man. I blame the Warriors and I blame Steve Kerr.
That's not today. Today, that's not my day. You can clearly see that I'm not, my voice, emotions are not showing that I'm pumped up about this game. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted about this game.
I know. How can you be, man?
Pisses me off, man. What can you do? This is the second time we lost to the Suns.
I know.
I went to the Suns with my mother. We went to she took me to the Warriors and Suns gonna be lost by 4. The second time we lost to the Suns with KD coming to the Bay.
It's
the second time Durant is coming to the Bay.
It's a travesty. Kevin Durant tonight, by the way, was feasting. Finished this game with actually didn't have a huge night. 19 points, was 5 of 9 from deep. He also only had to play 29 minutes, 21 seconds. Nick Richards was feasting on the Warriors, and that was a travesty. Nick Richards should not be lighting up the Warriors. He had 14 points, 16 rebounds in this game. Devin Booker also had a huge. He was the player of the game for the Suns.
It was great. It was great coming on the show today. I think this might be one of my best calls, hands down. Hands down. This might be number one.
Bravo, Chardol. You're number one.
You gotta snip this one and put it on YouTube. Make a snippet of this and put it on YouTube.
Okay, deal. You got it, brother.
Because this was my best call.
I'll see you Monday, okay?
I'll see you on Monday. Let's get a win over Orlando, and hopefully I'm having a much more optimistic attitude. I'm fired up because I want the Warriors to blow out Orlando, and I'm gonna come on here and get fired up for that win.
Before you go, who do you want the Warriors to trade for?
I want the Warriors to trade for Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine.
You want both, right?
I want both of them.
Even if it costs you Andrew Wiggins, you're cool with it?
Even if it costs me Andrew Wiggins, I'm okay with it.
See, Chardal endorses that. I'm all in. Let's do it. Chardal, I love you, man.
Thanks for having me on the show, and I really love everything you do, brother. I'll see you on Monday. Let's get a win against Orlando. Let's blow them out. Let's hopefully this team moves in the right direction.
Let's salvage this season, man. No more of these games. This was embarrassing.
The Warriors need to, as Stephen Curry said, the Warriors need to win as many games as possible, and they can't lose any more games, or this team is going to be in a pickle.
Agreed. Chardal, have a great night. Thank you.
Have a nice one, Ryan and Sai. It was great joining you two gentlemen.
Take care, brother. And he brought Chardal brought up some of the Steve Kerr and coaches and players, and we haven't had a chance to listen to any of these individuals speak in a press conference setting, which is what they do after every game. So why don't we do that if there's any available? I actually don't see any clips. Here we go. Here is Steve Kerr talking about, this is a good point. I'm actually glad. I don't know who asked this question. We'll find out hopefully from hearing it. But this is Steve Kerr talking about the impact that the absence of Draymond Green has had on Stephen Curry. Not a lot of people have been bringing this up, and watching tonight's game, that the thought actually did cross my mind that without Draymond, life gets harder for Stephen Curry. And someone thankfully asked Steve Kerr about that. So why don't we hear from Steve Kerr in regards to Draymond's absence, the effect that has on Stephen Curry, who finished tonight again with a measly 14 points. Here is Steve Kerr.
What defenses are doing this stuff? How much do you miss Draymond being able to screen him open, or is it more than that?
Yeah, I mean, Draymond is obviously a great player, and the connection that he has with Steph, he knows how to get Steph the ball and get him shots, get him free. I thought that was part of the problem in the first half. I think Steph had 5 shots at halftime, and we weren't finding ways to get him the ball. I've got to do a better job of that. But Draymond will help when he comes back for sure.
I was muted there. He needs to do a lot of things to help Stephen Curry. No shit, Sherlock was my immediate reaction to hearing Steve Kerr in that attribution there. Ryan, who were you talking to, dude? Like, was that anyone important?
Oh, yeah, pretty important, right? It's Mike Kropitchka. He's the visiting radio engineer. Say hi, Mike.
Oh, hey, what's up, Mike? Good to see you, man.
Cyrus Saatsaz.
How you doing, Mike? I don't know. Visiting engineers, I have a lot of respect for, dude. It is not an easy job. Making sure the broadcast sounds smooth, and when you're incompetent, like let's say someone named, I don't know, Lee Hammer, and you skimp on cost and you're incompetent, you'll get an incident like KNBR did when Barry Bonds hit a record-setting home run and it blacked out because you didn't replace the wires that should have been replaced. Anyways, my point is visiting engineers are phenomenal.
Well, he's the best. Kropitchka's the best. Anyway, so hey, you know what? Actually, in a way, it's good. The reason I'm actually even in here in the first place, you know, Cyrus, but the audience does not. I forgot my power adapter from my computer, and I did buy a ring light. In fact, I'll show you. I have it right here. But when I'm in a room that has lighting, I don't need it.
You don't need it there, exactly. Yeah, mine looks exactly like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, good stuff. So when you join us in your regular setting, that'll apply.
Well, you know what? Who knows? I may try this again on Monday. We'll see. If the room is open like this and I can go in here, I'm going to come in here. Why not?
Good look, dude. It's a clean look there. Broadcasting from the radio booth. I like that a lot. Chief in the chat dropping $4.99 saying, I'll never understand Steve Kerr, man. Trying lineups for the past 3 years. Again, the Warriors have 28 different starting lineups this season. Kerr went with the same lineup tonight that he went with against OKC. But Chief adding that Steve Kerr's lineups are oftentimes messing up a player's rhythm. There is an attribution, by the way, Ryan. I don't know if you were there for this interview, but Kevin Durant was reportedly going back and forth verbally with Gary Payton Sr.
I was in there. Yes, I got it. Yeah, if something happens in the visiting locker room, I was there for it.
And we can play that if you think it's interesting enough. But
sure it is. Play it. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's entertaining.
All right. Well, before we do, actually, let me see. I saw that a second ago. There's some other Steve Kerr attributions I want to play that we'll get to in just a second. But this is courtesy of John Shea. Where's Sam?
I was there. Man? He was right next to me. Sam got the night off.
Okay, I wonder why. Sam will be back with us at some point.
Yeah. So Jeff, John was with me in the locker room. So he was he was over to my left shoulder, and that's where the video comes from.
And again, this has to do with some sort of back and forth that Kevin Durant had tonight with Gary Payton Sr. There was a clip the previous game against the Thunder.
Okay, I'll set it up for you. I already know because I was the one who was in there. Okay, so
Please.
he was talking with Gary because Gary's always kind of talking smack to Kevin that he didn't play in what he considers the golden era of the NBA. And Kevin is saying back to Gary, well, you couldn't guard me, man. You're too small. You're too short. So they just go back and forth. And he said at the very end, he goes, we're gonna basically talk shit to each other until we die.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Because Gary Payton, a senior, just in case you're too young to be aware of this and you haven't done your research, was one of the greatest defensive guards in the history of the game. His nickname was the Glove. It's no surprise that Gary Payton II has taken up on Gary Sr.'s skill sets and playing style. Not offensively, because Gary Payton was also a fantastic offensive player. Gary Payton II has not necessarily taken that part of the game, but the defense is there. And here is Kevin Durant talking about that back and forth he has with Gary Payton Sr.
Yeah, it's always good when I run into an older player, especially in the 90s, who played in the 90s because they feel like that's the golden years of the NBA. And so I try to let them know, especially GP, I try to let them know what it would have been like if you'd have been on the court with me, you know. So because they tend to talk down on the mentality of our era players. So every time GP, a great sport about it, one of my favorite players, somebody I look up to, got major respect for. And I think this started in the summer at Team USA. We were all in the same room, Team USA, and the first thing I said to him is that he couldn't guard me, too small. The dudes that he played back in the day wasn't close to me. I was just talking crazy to him, so I guess we just picked it up from there. And I love that I had a rapport with the older generation of players and let them know that I'm like little bro to them, you know. I always looked up to them my whole life, so yeah, I'm gonna talk a little shit to them, you know. So that was fun. I got major respect for GP.
You think did you say to him that he'd never seen anything like you before?
You heard that?
It was on the TV.
Oh, they heard that?
They didn't know who you were.
I was mic'd up tonight too for the Netflix, so you know what I'm saying? You might gotta wait until that come out, you know what I mean? And see the back and forth. But yeah, I said something close to that, I think.
Do you think you made a point to him at the end of that third quarter there with all?
Ryan, I missed that part of it. What was said? Did you hear that?
I did not exactly know, but I guess that he was, like he said, he was mic'd up for a Netflix thing that he's doing. There's cameras following him around. So, but yeah, I mean, it's cool. So yeah, I just basically kind of gave you a hint as to what he was going to say, and that's what he said because I was there. So yeah,
that is very cool. I want to hear from Steve Kerr. There's a couple other sound bites here. I wish KNBR was publishing all of theirs because they actually have the mics plugged in and the sound is good. Whereas 95.7 The Game is just rolling with like cell phone mics, even though they're the flagship radio station of the Warriors. You would expect better quality of audio. Anyways.
Well, you know what? That just goes to show you that, well, actually, I don't want to say too much because I don't get myself in trouble, but they're just, let's just say they don't take their radio crap as seriously as KNBR does.
That's fair. And here is so my point to all that is crank up the volume on your devices here because the audio will not be as good. But here is Steve Kerr talking about Stephen Curry's struggles. Again, 14 points for Steph tonight. He only had 2 at the end of the first half. He only made 1 3-pointer the entire game, way below Steph's standards. And here's Steve Kerr talking about getting the ball more to Stephen Curry, getting him involved, just talking about the struggles. Here's Kerr.
How much do you miss Draymond? Scream open?
Oh, we already heard. No. We already heard that. I'm not muted. Good. We already heard that. There's one more. Hold on 1 second, since we've already listened to that one. This is Steve Kerr talking about the health of Draymond Green and when we can expect him. So this will likely be the last soundbite we play tonight. Here is Steve Kerr giving us an update on Draymond Green, who was sorely missed this evening.
He scrimmaged today, and he will practice with us tomorrow. And we're expecting him to play next week sometime. Not sure which game, but we'll see how he comes out. But he scrimmaged and did fine. So he's on the right track.
All right. So it sounds like Monday will not be the date that we'll see Draymond Green, but it will be sometime next week. The schedule for the Warriors next week, they play the Magic Monday, and then they start a road trip where they're going to be in Utah Wednesday. They play the Lakers Thursday, and then they're in Chicago on Saturday. So 4 games next week. Again, Orlando Monday at home, and then they start a long road trip. In fact, it's going to be a 6-game swing where they're facing Utah, the Lakers, the Bulls, the Bucks. I don't know how the hell they're going to manage Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Draymond's going to have his hands full on that night. And then they play the Mavericks in Dallas, and then the Houston Rockets in Houston before the All-Star break will kick in. That's going to be on February 16th. So that's what's going on there. Ryan, Draymond Green was absent early in this game. I think he came out sometime in the second quarter wearing like his all-white sweats. Your thought, was Draymond doing or saying anything antics-wise that stuck out to you, or was it just the norm for Dre?
Nah, it seemed the norm to me. In fact, somebody was commenting to me on my Instagram tweet. I put out a tweet of Curry. I got a cool shot of Curry that you retweeted for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And someone made a comment saying that they didn't see Draymond out there, and then I saw that. Then I started looking at binoculars and I found him. So like you said, I didn't notice when he showed up, but I saw him when he was there. So he looked like a guy just sitting there in street clothes. I mean, he didn't seem like he was either interested nor disinterested. Like he was just there.
This was an ugly game, man. Curtis Aldrete, You've been waiting a very long time. If you're still with us, and R. Jonesy, if you're still with us, you'll be last. Curtis, welcome to the show. Thank you for waiting. It's been a busy night. How are you doing, man? The floor is yours.
I'm doing well, man. Hey, Ryan, did you happen to see the back and forth between Draymond and GP2? Draymond was yelling something at GP2. GP2 didn't do us any favors. He made like 5 or 6 mistakes in the first quarter. Dropping.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Did you happen to see this? Were they showing this on the telecast, I guess?
Yeah, it was on the telecast. And
okay.
Draymond Green was yelling at him about something, probably about his messing up. But I thought maybe since you were there, maybe you seen that, man.
No, but here's the thing. Even if I did, I sit way up in the corner. So like, whatever TV cameras are getting, they're getting better than what I could see. I mean, I'm kind of up there. Yeah.
And Curtis, I'm glad you brought up GP2 because last game he was on fire, man. It might have been his best game of the whole season. That dunk was something everybody was talking about, after the game, next day even. But then, for every game like that, you unfortunately have a stinker like this. And this is why, you can't hold on to GP2 just because, he's a good chemistry guy. That's not for the amount of money he's making, $8 million. The fact that it's an expiring deal, meaning it's lucrative for a trade, you've got to trade him. He played 12 minutes, 15 seconds tonight, 1 of 6 from the field. He had 1 3-point attempt that he missed. There was a second 3-point attempt that he was wide open for, and then he decided to not shoot it, attack the paint, and miss the layup. He's leading the team in missed layups this year. He's a huge reason why the Warriors are dead last in the NBA in missed layups. 3 points for GP2 tonight, 3 rebounds. It's just more of the same, dude.
And those misses are timely, man. It matters, right? I mean,
yes, they're momentum killers, dude. Yes,
at the beginning of the game, and at the end of the day, you're right. This is a business, and it's about making smart business moves. And we need to let him go and get something else. By the way, I want to see Zach LaVine and Vooch, because I think they could make the biggest impact on this team. Can you imagine Zach getting downhill and Kuminga getting downhill in the same game together? They would be dangerous, man.
And dude, Zach LaVine is 6'6". Like, he's not a small dude. He's a true shooting guard, even a 3, whatever position you want to put him at. I would sign me up, dude. I mean, Ryan, what are your thoughts on Zach LaVine? I mean, his name is fairly new in all these trade discussions. It only popped up like in the last week or so. What do you think about LaVine coming to the Warriors?
Well, I'd like him a hell of a lot better than Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Curtis, what do you think about Jimmy Butler?
So, to me, chemistry is everything. And I don't know that the chemistry would be there with Jimmy Butler. And then, all of his wild antics, I don't know how well that plays off in the locker room. But what's more, my initial worry was Jimmy Butler needs a lot of touches, right? He needs the ball. He's one of those guys that needs to go after it. And then he starts really cooking. But when I think about it on second thought, the way Steph has been playing lately, he needs somebody to take over more of the lead role in scoring, and he can be the hero and come in and hit the big shots, like in the Olympics, right? He came out when it was time for him to come out and show out. He did, and I think the best way to get a great player like that hurt, and God forbid that ever happen, is to play him too much. He's playing too hard. He's forcing shots, like Ryan said, and he's trying to force things too much, and that's when you get him hurt. We need another. See, this is terrible because we need to hurry up and get somebody. We should have had somebody 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but we need to hurry up and make a trade because Curry is running out of time. Where he's tired already earlier in the season than 2 seasons ago, when you could see he was tired when Toronto came and kicked our ass by like 30 points or something. We need help now. And I would like to see Levine, but I'm not going to sneeze at Jimmy Buckets. And let's call it what it is, Jimmy Buckets.
Exactly, dude.
Scoring machine.
Zach LaVine,
he is, but his I'm sorry, I was gonna say, he totally is, but his attitude is so rotten. I don't know, man. I think he could just screw things up royally. I think a guy like if you were gonna give me a choice, though, I'd say, Ryan, pick between Zach LaVine or Jimmy Butler. I would definitely take Zach LaVine.
Now, here's the thing with Jimmy. Here's some real quick. Here's some added information about Zach LaVine. Listed at 6'5". I said 6'6", but ESPN which uses the official NBA measurements, it lists him at 6'5". He's 29 years old. He turns 30 in March 10th. So he's a March baby, just like Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. So he turns 30 in March. This season, his numbers are absurd. He's putting up 24 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Side note, those 4.8 rebounds, I believe, although I haven't looked recently, but I think that's higher than what Andrew Wiggins is pulling down in terms of
Andrew
rebounds.
Wiggins is at 17.3 per game.
Scoring, right. I was saying rebounding. He's at 4.6. So Zach LaVine's even grabbing more boards than Andrew Wiggins. Zach LaVine averaging 4.8 rebounds per game. He's averaging 4.5 assists per game. Those are all fantastic numbers. Maybe the best part are the efficiency numbers. 44.6% shooting from deep on the season. 38.7% is his career number. Those are both fantastic. He's shooting 51.1% from the field this year. And unlike past years, this season he's showing durability, putting up 34.1 minutes per night.
Right.
Set me up, dude. I would love some Zach LaVine. Give me some Zach. And here's what I guarantee you. And Ryan and Curtis, I'd love to get, Curtis, I'd love to get your feedback on this. I guarantee it. Guaranteed. If you trade for a player like Zach LaVine, Stephen Curry's numbers are going to skyrocket because he's doing everything he's doing this year with zero help, dude. Like somebody in the chat asked, why the hell did this team sign Buddy Hield? I lost it. I'm sorry. Someone wrote that. And it's a great question, man. I mean, technically they signed him because I forgot the Warriors assistant coach who was coaching the Bahamas this previous offseason, but that is where it all started. Buddy Hield was practicing with the Bahamas team, prepping for the Olympics. And one of the Warriors assistants, who I'm brain farting, can't remember his name, was the coach of that team. And that's how it all started. And he went to Steve Kerr and was like, dude, what I'm seeing from Buddy in terms of the off-the-ball movement would be perfect for us. He replaced Klay Thompson at half the price, and the team did it. And I'm guessing they're regretting it now, although he still starts games, which makes no goddamn sense. Ryan, why do you think Buddy Hield keeps starting? Like what goes into that from your opinion?
Well, if you bought something, you got to use it, right?
Yes, but Kyle Anderson's making the same amount of money. Some nights he gets DNP'd for no reason.
That's true.
I don't get it.
That I have no answer for you on as far as the Kyle Anderson part. But the first part, I do think that they envision that, like you said, Cyrus, Buddy Hield was a cheaper version of Klay Thompson. And yeah, he is. He's a much cheaper version because he's not doing anything.
And the other part of that, Ryan, is hope. They're hoping that Buddy Hield comes around, right?
Yep.
Look at it this way. Other teams are not being honest. They're loading up on Steph Curry because they know that's the way you stop the Warriors. Steph Curry is going to make the right pass, but the other player has to hit the bucket.
No, you're right. You know, that's the Warriors in a nutshell right now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, that's it. That's it. If the other guys make shots, then it makes it tougher to defend the Warriors. But when they're all missing shots, all you got to do is like you said, just double up on Curry, force him to pass the ball to somebody else.
That's it.
And that's what happened tonight. Even though you look at the numbers of what the Suns did, right? They out rebounded. Well, actually, they didn't out rebound the Warriors. The Warriors actually had one more rebound than they did. The problem was that the bottom line was the Warriors played terrible defense, and the Suns were making their shots, and they were making their shots a lot easier than the Warriors did. It took the Warriors twice as much effort to make any basket. You saw this, Cyrus. You're watching the game on TV. I mean, how many times did they get to the rim and they couldn't even get a shot to fall?
Well, the stat, Ryan, that I think you probably wanted to look up, because you're right, rebounding wise, the Warriors out rebounded the Suns 49-48.
Points in the paint.
Yeah, the points in the paint is what reflects them being dominated tonight. But the Suns 56-36. The Warriors outscored points in the paint, and that echoes all of last year in terms of what their struggles were a year ago. This season, they've been able to manage that stat largely because of Kuminga. Andrew Wiggins is playing better this year, but Wiggins tonight did not have a great game. 17 points, but it was a very quiet 17. And he was just 1 of 5 from beyond the arc, so the 3-point shot wasn't falling for him either. Curtis, any final thoughts, man? And by the way, I love Nick the Greek in the chat saying that he doesn't mind the Buddy Hield minutes, but why the hell is he starting? And even adding to that, there are nights where Buddy Hield will start, and immediately you can see that shot not falling. You can see Buddy's just does not have his game, and he gets taken out fast, right? And you're thinking to yourself, okay, Steve Kerr has the common sense to see that Buddy Hield, this is not his night, which is the story for most nights. But then you see him after sitting the whole game at the end of the game, in the closing minutes, in the most important moments, all of a sudden Buddy Hield is back. And it makes no damn sense, man.
You know,
Curtis,
the
any
Pine,
final thoughts from you, sir?
The Pine is a wonderful place for reflection. He needs to sit on the Pine for a little while and think about what's going on and what he's doing. But I also think that the Warriors, they got a shooter in Buddy, but Buddy's the spot-up shooter. Just like they go out of their way, especially Draymond, to get Steph open, they need to do that for Buddy, and I think you'll get better results. Last thing, Quentin Post right now is, and I got a lot of hope for that kid.
Me too.
Right now, he's a defensive liability.
Yep.
He doesn't jump. He hops. If you notice, when there's movement, he's not able to really jump up and contest the shot, which is a problem for him. And I hope that once Draymond gets back, we can work on that a little bit, because they were scoring on him easily. And lastly, the Warriors are too small. They overcompensate to plug up the paint, and then the teams just kick it out, and then they hit threes. These other teams are not great three-point shooters. It's just that the Warriors are too small, and by the time they get out to contest the three, you're coming at it as a 6'2" guy trying to contest a 6'6", and they're shooting the lights out of the three ball. They're not that good, man. It's just
Curtis, you're preaching to the choir. Curtis, you're preaching to the choir on that topic. It's all the entire reason I bring up the Hobbit ball reference is because of that point. How can you defend shooters when you're 6 inches shorter than them? It's an absurd disadvantage to be as small as the Warriors are. And you bring up a great point, man. When Kevin Durant is sitting at the 3-point line and he sees a guy 6'4" coming up on him, he's not afraid. He's not intimidated. He's squaring up and putting up an
He's
easy,
let it go.
wide open look for a three, dude. It's insane. It's insane.
Yep. Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you. Last we got to everyone, which I'm really stoked on, man. We had an audience tonight joining us despite this low energy, boring Warriors basketball. Thank you to everyone for joining us. R. Jonesy, you're the final audience member of the night joining us. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. How you what, man?
All right, man. What's on your mind, brother?
All right. So how much you can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right, bet,
we can hear you.
bet. All right. So how much time I got? I kind of got a lot I want to say.
There's no time limit.
Go for it. Say it.
All right, check. So I want to speak. I want to speak against all the people that's saying that Jimmy Butler is such a terrible move, just because they think
like
he's
it.
not
Another
good.
perspective. Good.
Yeah, because they saying that he's not good anymore, or they think that he's a head case. First off, I got to get this off my chest. All the people in the chat, stop acting like you grinding Jimmy Butler tape because Eastern Conference games start at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock when y'all getting off of work, okay? So I don't believe that you out there watching Jimmy Butler more than a handful of times. You got to say that to the chat. Second of all, if you was watching him, I think you would know that he was a pretty good player before all the drama started. He played 19 games before he got hurt or either he got sick. And I crunched the numbers. He was 19 and a half, 6 boards, while coexisting with all-star Tyler Hero. 19 and a half, 6 boards. His last game that he played for the Heat, when he was giving them they all before the drama started, it was a 35-point triple-double and like 18 or 19 rebounds. Has any Warrior on the roster had a game like that? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Now, to the drama aspect of it, I think it's a lot of context that's missing when they say Jimmy Butler tanks teams and all that stuff. So let's start with the Bulls. He was upset because he felt like he wasn't being used right, specifically his usage rate, right? He left Chicago and he blossomed into a much better player. So I might say he was right about that. He went to the Wolves. He had a problem with the Wolves because he thought Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns was soft. You got people in your chat right now calling Andrew Wiggins soft. Cat didn't get his respect till they brought in another center to play defense for him and an alpha 30-point scorer named Anthony Edwards. That's when people start putting respect on Cat name, when they put them two in there. Then he went to Philly. He wanted to stay in Philly. Philly chose Tobias Harris. And if you hear Joel Embiid talk, he always talk about how he wanted Jimmy to stay. Always talk about how he wanted Jimmy to stay. Now let's get to the Heat where he at right now. This is about the extension. That's why he's beefing with the Heat right now, because it's all about the extension. Well, you can feel how you want to feel about that, but let me tell you this. Jimmy Butler led the Heat to 2 finals. You know who got an extension? Tyler Hero. You know who got an extension? Bam Adebayo. Did Jimmy get an extension? Nah. So if I was him, I might be a little upset about that too, especially when Pat Riley want to run around like he Vincent the Chin Gigante and call him out in the media and act like he a mob boss instead of a general manager, overseer of a team. So I think it's a strong case that his gripes are legit. And this is what I'm saying. He's a physical force. He's an energizing force. He gets to the line. He rebounds. He plays defense. And he just might give you 20 to 25. So for everybody to just be like, I'm dismissive of that, or no, I'm out on Jimmy Butler, not even thinking about it, it's crazy. Because how can you look at this game, how can you look at this team and say y'all can't use that? And here's the thing. I'm not saying that he's the end-all, be-all and a definite move that you should make. But what I am saying, it should be a lot more consideration.
Agreed. And look, they are considering it. I mean, and there's a good reason for that.
I'm talking about the fan base.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, here's what I guarantee you. Our Jonesy, what are we calling you? Just Jonesy or what's your name?
Yeah, you can call me Jonesy, man.
Jonesy. I guarantee you this, man. And I feel like I've dropped a lot of guarantees tonight. The fan base, there's a lot of folks out there. Larry Krueger was on the show a few nights ago, and he was echoing the exact same sentiments, which is, I don't want Jimmy Butler on this team. A lot of people think he's going to come in here and just for whatever reason influence the entire locker room in a negative manner and just cause chaos. And Ryan isn't excited about it either. I get it. I'm not advocating for it myself. I don't hate the idea though either, because I agree with all of your points in terms of what you're making.
Here's the thing. It only goes bad when it's over. Everybody loves him when he's there.
Well, my point is, here's the thing. Real fast. My point is, real quick. If the Warriors make this trade, okay, let's say like this weekend, the news drops, Warriors make a trade, they got Jimmy Butler. All the fans that are unhappy about it, one win is all it's going to take, man, and everybody's over it, and they're going to be on board. Like it's not something that would linger, is what I'm trying to say. Like if the Warriors trade for Jimmy Butler, people will embrace him immediately. I promise you that.
Yeah, well, I'll say this much too, Jones, and I agree with your points, but you mentioned how many times he's had problems in all the different cities he's been at. So that means he has a reputation. And unfortunately, Draymond does too, but Draymond's only been on the Warriors. So that's the one thing where I give Draymond some credit, because he's still only been on one team.
The context in there. It's not like he's just going in there.
No, hold on, dude. Don't be so defensive on me here. Give me a second. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying you're wrong at all, but I will say this. The way he's handled his business has not been very good. I have a friend who's a reporter in Chicago named Cheryl Ray Stout. She's been in Chicago forever. She's been covering Chicago sports since the 80s. And she knows that Jimmy Butler's he's a diva. That's the problem. He's a diva no matter how you look at it. So he's a great player, and you are right. If he comes here, he would provide that spark. The problem is, how long is that spark going to be for? So I don't know. I just think, that's the thing.
Ryan,
That's a huge question mark.
I'll respond to that, Ryan, with this because you're not making any bad points. I agree with all of it. If this was Jimmy Butler at 30, and we were talking about Jimmy Butler like being with the Warriors for the next 5 years, I would 100% be on board with every concern. This is a short-term rental, man. Like we're talking this year, next year at the most, and that doesn't scare me. Because worst case scenario, let's say he comes here and he disrupts things, and he's butting heads. He's just complaining. He's negative. He's gone. He's gone after this season, man. Worst case scenario, he sticks around and stays next year. But Mike Dunleavy Jr. has the relationship with him, and he's vouching for him. And I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Is what I'm trying to say. It's a short term thing. That's why I'm not panicking.
Oh, I think the one thing we can all agree on though is that Warriors need to do something, right? So they got to do something because they can't. If the roster stays as it is for the rest of this season, this team is gonna. What are they at? 24 wins.
Dude, the status
this team's
quo
gonna have like
ass, bro.
This team will have
the status quo is in big, fat, juicy.
Okay, so right. So I'm saying if they stay
with diarrhea on top, dude, the status quo is a piece of shit. They can't just stick around and keep doing this, Ryan.
Right. So let me finish my point real quick here. So if they stay pat as they
what happened to you? Famous last words as Chase Center
hit my
catastrophe. Oh no, we're back. Jonesy, go ahead, man. Well, Ryan's. I
don't really got too much. I just want to reiterate this though. I'm not saying that he's the end all be all for the Warriors, but what I am saying is, for people to just be like dismissive of him and all that stuff is just is asinine when you look at this team. And the team that beat y'all head in the day, they want Jimmy Butler.
Agreed. No. Jonesy, you and I are on the same page. I am not. I don't fear the idea of Jimmy Butler like a lot of people do, man. Like I would embrace it. I would welcome it. For me, dude, like doing the same thing over and over again. There's a word for that. It's called insanity. I'm long over what this product is, dude. They desperately need to make a change. I would welcome Jimmy Butler. I love the idea. Look at Ryan. He just died on us, man. R.I.P. dude. I'm kidding. Ryan's back.
Sorry about that.
I love the idea of Steph, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and whoever the fifth person is on the court. Sign me up. That sounds amazing to me. That's just me.
Right.
I don't know.
And his price.
So anyway, the point I was trying to make is if the Warriors stand pat, they're going to have 10 more wins. This is going to be a 34-win team. That sound about right to you?
What happened to you there,
I think
Ryan?
I hit something on my phone. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm back on. But I'm just saying,
Brian, the optics were awesome, dude. Like something dropped, and then it froze. I don't know. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, man. The optics were incredible. You just died on us there.
All good. So I just think, like I said, they'll have 10 more wins for the season if they don't do anything.
Any final thoughts as we start to wrap it up here?
No, I didn't say it all I got to say, man. But look, I'll say this to the fans. Man. Stop talking about players you ain't watching, man.
Jonesy, where you at, brother? It's Friday night. We should be happier than this. At least we're doing this to get more misery together.
Listen, brother. I'm not a Golden State Warriors fan, quote unquote. I'm a fan of basketball.
Who's your team?
Come on, man. My team is we them boys that own a Chase Center. We call it the Pace Center. Indiana Pacers, baby. We call it the Pace Center when we come down there.
So are you going to trade us Miles Turner?
Never. He gonna retire a Pacer. But I'm the one in the chat telling you he gonna retire a Pacer. He been
I know. I'm messing with you.
His whole career.
I know. I think I know who you are, dude. And I was totally just messing with you, dude. Miles Turner is not going anywhere, dude. Your team is great. Rick Carlisle is a great coach. Dude, you're set. I envy the Pacers, dude, because you guys have
listen, I envy y'all. Y'all the one with the 4 rings, but listen, man. I'm just saying, man. I don't want to see Steph go out like this, bro. Steph, I respect Steph and I love Steph so much, bro. And I kind of think that the Pacers should model they style of play, and they kind of did after what the Warriors was doing. I just don't want to see Steph go out like this, man.
Same. I think we're all on the same page there, man. Jonesy, have a great night, dude. Thank you for joining us tonight, dude. It was great call. Great call. Good stuff. Have a good night, dude. And meanwhile, people in the chat are like, go away. Go back to Indiana. Craig Ross. Oh, man. I like it. All right. Ryan, you ready to go over the scoreboard? And then
actually, if I could kind of cut out early, I'm not feeling super great. So I'm a little I'm not under the weather, but I'm a little drained. So yeah, no, not hungover. Just but I'll be better on Monday. So yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you for that invite, by the way. I RSVP'd for that All-Star event, All-Star game event you talked about.
Good.
I applied. Did you get an answer? Are you going to the All-Star game for sure, or are you waiting like me?
I'm waiting like you are. I mean, the deadline's today. We'll find out. So hopefully I'm in. But you're right. I'm with the network, like you said, and that's very, very important. If you're an independent trying to get in, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very hard.
So, I'm with you on that. All right, Ryan, feel better, man. Thank you. That was a great view, by the way. If that's where you end up doing the show from now on.
Yeah, well, we'll try it. We'll try this again on Monday.
Either one. It's just with that.
No, this is better.
Is done, but the other spot you can see the court. I don't know. They're both
okay. We can do that too. You know what? I have a ring light, so let's try Monday with the ring light. We'll do that.
Try Monday, brother. Have a great weekend,
All right,
Ryan.
good.
Feel better.
Thanks,
Thank you,
man. All right.
Thank you, brother. And let's finish up with the scoreboard. That was Ryan Leong. Again, you can follow him at Ryan Leong on Twitter, and make sure you go subscribe to Bay Area Sports Wrap on YouTube. That is his official channel. Let's go through the NBA scoreboard. There were a lot of games going on here. I want to do a little humble brag, folks, if you don't mind, just because when you win a bet as big as I did, there is a silver lining to your evening when the Warriors get their butts handed to them like that happened this evening. And this was my ticket. I got to show off my ticket. All right. We're an hour and a half into the show. I think I can do stuff like that this late. By the way, the Golden State Warriors are now 1-21 on the year when trailing after 3 quarters. That infamous stat that Stephen Curry was surprised by a few shows ago. That continued this evening. Not cool at all. All right. This was the ticket that I'm going to show off real fast, and then we'll go through the NBA scoreboard, and then we'll call it a night. God damn it. I'm having issues with my computer. Here we go. Okay. So first of all, and again, I post all of these dockets online. So if you want to win with me, I'm not going to push it because the last thing I want to be responsible for is you folks losing money, but that has not been the case mostly. And this is what I won on, just to do my little humble brag here. Forgive me. If you're a gambler, you get it. So here's what I bet money on tonight and won. Norman Powell. I bet he was going to score higher than 27 points and rebounds and assists collectively. Hit that easily. Derrick Jones Jr. There was an individual on Twitter giving me a lot of shit for picking him in a previous game because he is the quote-unquote 6th option on the Clippers. He covered higher than 14.5 points and rebounds and assists. Check. Nikola Jokic. This one was a very close call. He had to score higher than 27.5 points. He ended up scoring 28 in a close win for the Nuggets over Philly. Ricky Council, if you've never heard of him, there's a good reason for that. I decided to bet that he was going to score lower than 14.5 points and rebounds collectively. He did not hit that. Jason Tatum, I bet he was going to score higher than 26.5 points. He hit points 26 and 27 on a game winner. That one was the closest call without question. Jaylen Brown easily went higher than 21.5 points. Giannis Antetokounmpo easily went higher than 31.5 points. And last but not least, on an 8 selection ticket that I got all 8 correct on, baby! And I won 54.4 times what I put in. I decided that Victor Wembanyama was going to go higher than a double-double. And he got a double-double. So that's Underdog Fantasy for you. If you want to join in at any point, come join the party. It's a good time. All right, let's get the music going. Thank you for putting up with that. I know that was a very selfish move on my part because I doubt many of you care about my betting ticket, but I had to do the brag. I had to. Again, if you bet, you understand. Damian LaRose dropping $2 saying that Ryan was flossing in the Lacoste sweater, looking good. I think I showed that earlier, so Ryan saw that, Damian. All right, let's get the music going, and we'll go through the rest of the NBA and then call it a night. Friday night. Tunes are playing. Let's bust out the scoreboard. Around the association, this was a busy one. The San Antonio Spurs beat the piss out of the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, 144-118. I'm going to try something new here. Let me see if this will... I can't do that. Never mind. I was going to share my screen to show you what I see, but it just occurred to me there's a lot of weird crap on there in terms of advertisements. So never mind. San Antonio again, 144-118 winners tonight over the Milwaukee Bucks. San Antonio improves to 21-24. The Bucks drop to 26-20. Victor Wembanyama, the double-double I was talking about that I won money on, 30 points, 14 rebounds, 6 blocks in the win. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 35 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss. The Boston Celtics, thanks to Jason Tatum's game winner and money winner for me, they won tonight in New Orleans, 118-116. Very somber mood in New Orleans because of DeJounte Murray, who tore his Achilles tonight. This has just been a nightmare season for the New Orleans Pelicans, and they lost this game. Again, last-second shot by Jason Tatum, who finished the game with 27 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. Trey Murphy, the third, 40 points for the Pelicans in the loss, 118-116. Boston improves to 34-15. The Pelicans drop to 12-37. Just a brutal year for them on the season. Moving on. Chicago Bulls, potential trade partner for your Golden State Warriors. They were winners tonight, 122-106. Kobe White, 25 points, 6 assists in the win for the Chicago Bulls. The Toronto Raptors, led by Scotty Barnes, 20 points, 10 rebounds. The Bulls improved to 21-28. The Raptors dropped to 15-33. Zach LaVine was held out, and he's going to miss the next, I believe, few days, few games. Some people think it's because the Bulls don't want him to get injured before trading him. There's also reports that he's going to be welcoming the birth of another child. So who knows what's going on there. But Zach LaVine did not play, held out for personal reasons. I think that's what they cited. Nikola Vucevic, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 2 from deep in the win for the Bulls. Denver Nuggets, in a game that for them should not have been as close as it was. In Philly, they held on, 137-134 the final. The Nuggets improved to 29-19. Philly drops to 19-28. Nikola Jokic, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists in the win. Tyrese Maxey, 42 points, 9 assists in the loss. 2 more, and we're done. The Detroit Pistons, 117-102 winners tonight over the Dallas Mavericks. Detroit improving to 24-24. Dallas dropping to 26-23. Had the Warriors won tonight, it would have been a half game behind the Mavericks for the 8th seed. Very unfortunate loss for Golden State. Cade Cunningham, first-time All-Star this year, 40 points, 6 rebounds in the win. PJ Washington, 22 points, 13 rebounds in the loss for Dallas. I'm just curious to see how Klay Thompson did tonight. Klay played 26 minutes, 13 points, 3 of 7 shooting from deep in the loss for Dallas. And last but not least, the LA Clippers defeating the Charlotte Hornets tonight, 112-104 the final. The Clippers improving to 28-20. The Hornets dropping to 12-33. Norman Powell, 27 points in the win. Miles Bridges, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss for the Hornets. And we look at the standings now. I've talked a lot about how had the Warriors won, they would have vaulted to the 9 seed tonight, just a half game behind the Mavericks. Because that did not happen, the Warriors are now the 11 seed. Once again, 500 on the season, 24-24. They're a half game behind the Sacramento Kings, who are 24-23. The Warriors are a game and a half behind the Dallas Mavericks, who are the 9 seed right now at 26-23. And the Phoenix Suns, with the win tonight, are also a game and a half ahead of the Golden State Warriors. They are now 25-22. The Minnesota Timberwolves are currently the 7th seed in the Western Conference. They are 27-21, 3 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors. The LA Clippers and the LA Lakers are tied for the 5 and 6 spots. Both teams 4 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors. That would have been 3 had the Warriors won tonight. This was costly, man. They got to do something soon. The Denver Nuggets are currently the 4 seed. And this just goes to show again how easily the Warriors could be back in the picture with one run, because the Nuggets, who are currently 4th in the Western Conference, sit just 5 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors. And that is your scoreboard. That is your standings. Andre Miller in the chat saying that the refs saved the Nuggets tonight. I don't know what that means, but I believe you. My background will look better very soon. This show will be a constant evolving product. At least I got lighting back there. So it's one step at a time. I don't always move fast. I apologize for that. G in the chat mentioning that you still remember when the Warriors traded for Captain Jack and Al Harrington. Those are the We Believe Warriors. And Matt Barnes, too. Wasn't he part of that deal as well? By the way, side note, Matt Barnes in a whole bunch of drama that I will not go into detail on this program, but I did post it on Twitter if you want to take a look. In case you folks are or are not familiar with the background of Barnes and Derek Fisher, they had their personal lives spill into the public eye, and Matt Barnes is in it again, which explains why he went dark on me. I was on the verge of getting him on the show, and then all of a sudden I got nothing from Matt Barnes. And again, I will not go into details on this program as to why, but it's all over social media if you want to take a look at what's going on with Matt Barnes. Not fun. Anyway. R. Jonesy, great call tonight again, by the way. R. Jonesy saying that Matt Barnes has bigger fish to fry right now. Yeah, he's got some drama. Anyways, that does it. So the Golden State Warriors, they got to do something here, folks. I've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for years, but it's even though the timing of it was ridiculous, I don't think it's wise to tell the media before a game as a head coach that you think the team should improve and make a trade. But he did say it, and that's a big step. So that is something to be encouraged about and optimistic for. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you as always, everybody. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I want to make sure we got all of our paid chats covered. We did. And so I guess that's it. Again, if any news breaks, we'll be live immediately. So if the Warriors announce a trade this weekend, we'll be hitting that live button within seconds. I mean, I'm just plugging the mic in. I'm getting things set up. We're launching right away if the Warriors make a trade. Do not doubt us there. So if that happens, you'll see us this weekend. If not, at the absolute latest, you'll see this program back Monday night. Sophia Jones will join me. We also have some WNBA news we're going to be covering in regards to blockbuster trades and free agent signings and all sorts of great stuff pertaining to your Golden State Valkyries and the WNBA. Sophia Jones is a talent. It's always a pleasure to have her co-hosting with me. So she'll be joining me for Monday night's post-game Warriors and Magic. Until then, let's really hope we get some trade news. Peace to you. I will spark one up, G. Chardal is going to Cabo on February 3rd. Bravo, man. Bravo. Good stuff. Rafael Luna can't see my eyeballs. I know. That's just how I genetically am. Thank you, Jonesy. It was a great call. I know. It's just how I look at every picture I'm smiling in, man. I just got the squints. Not much I can do about it. It's who I am. Thank you, everyone. And, yeah, I guess that's it. See you soon. Hopefully before Monday. That's the hope. Let's hope to make a trade. Let's hope everyone is happy with the Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic trade. Do not be disappointed and disconcerted if it ends up being Jimmy Butler. I have a lot of faith that's going to work out. Okay, I really do feel fantastic about that potential trade if it happens. I understand a lot of you aren't into it, and I get it. I do. I'm just telling you, good things will happen if the Warriors trade for Jimmy Butler. But I'm also on board with everyone who prefers Zach LaVine. Even Cam Johnson signed me up for. I'll even take Kelly Olynyk. Talk about a brutal consolation prize. I'll still take it. Anything. Just anything over what we have now, please. Otherwise, that's it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Happy Friday night. Bye-bye.